Hey guys, Justin Brock here, and just got off the phone with a client who was told some inaccurate information by another agent, and could have been really bad for them. Also had an agent in our office that dealt with someone who was charged an enrollment fee on a commissionable application, and led me to want to make this video. The video is 3 things insurance agents should never do. Doesn't matter what niche you're in, but in Medicare, these are probably especially big things, but some of these apply to anything. So number 1 is understanding your state's specific guaranteed issue right rules. Okay, the one that I talked to recently, or just a little bit ago, had been told that her husband, that she could voluntarily drop her husband off of her group coverage. He's under 65 on Medicare and has some chronic illnesses and won't turn 65 for another year and a half. And she was told that she could voluntarily get off of it and go to any Medicare supplement she wanted without asking any health questions, and that would be a guaranteed issue. In some states, this is actually true. In Mississippi, the state that he lived in, this was not true. If they would have listened to her, then they would have gotten off of the group plan, maybe not been able to get back on it. Likely, I would have had to put them in a Medicare Advantage plan then. Problem with that is the only Medicare Advantage plan in their county is not accepted at the largest medical regional provider here, and really one of the only medical regional providers, and many specialists will not accept it. So it could have been a really bad thing for them, and it wouldn't have been good. That agent probably would have, could have gotten a complaint filed against them for telling them that. We would have fixed it the best we could, but we would have kind of been, pasting together some plans to try to get him in as good a spot as possible until he turns 65. Okay. So understand your state-specific rules. If the guaranteed issue right in your state, make sure that you understand it. Don't listen to one video on guaranteed issue rights and think that that applies to the entire country, because it doesn't. There are Medicare-specific guaranteed issue rights, but in order to qualify for those guaranteed issue rights, states have different rules on that. Okay? All right. The next one is enrollment fees. We had this guy come in, and he was talking to Stephen, and he had been enrolled in a Mutual of Omaha Medicare supplement and a Mutual of Omaha dental and vision plan. He says he doesn't remember being told about the dental and vision plan, but we understand some people forget what all they talked about. The bigger issue was that on his bank statement you could see that they charged a $50 enrollment fee. This is in a state with a $6 enrollment fee and with a carrier that does not charge enrollment fees. So Mutual of Omaha absorbs the state-specific enrollment fees anyway, and they still charged a $50 enrollment fee. It's a big deal. You cannot charge an enrollment fee on a product that you also receive commission on. And again, this can be state specific in these rules, but the general rule of thumb here is if you're receiving a commission, you cannot also charge a fee. Be very careful with that in Medicare because it's highly regulated. Be very careful with it in ACA. In life insurance, I'm honestly not sure what the rule is on life insurance, but I would think that it's tacky at best to charge an enrollment fee on a product that you're getting a high commission on. Now, technically, if you're doing something as a service and you don't get commission on it, you can charge fees. And it is possible that they had something else that they were pitching that they were charging this enrollment fee for, but it doesn't sound like it. They were one and done, can't get a hold of them again, sign them up for a Mutual of Omaha MedSup, and charged a $50 enrollment fee, and wrote the dental and vision, which was commissionable as well. So last thing I'm going to go over is clean sheeting. We are seeing more and more people not answer health questions, not ask all the health questions. I had one the other day. A guy came in. He had been written Aetna by a local face-to-face agent they had not asked all the health questions. Clearly, this guy for years had been receiving injections for wet macular degeneration and was still receiving them. There was no interruption in it. It was a big part of his life. And he comes in, he says, hey, I got this policy in the mail from this other agent that wrote it, and I'm looking at the health questions, And on the health questions, they checked no, but nobody ever asked me this health question. In fact, they didn't ask me a lot of these health questions. So I think some people are just asking the knockouts. You had a heart attack, you had cancer, you had rheumatoid arthritis, you had COPD, you had emphysema, or you're diabetic, and they answer no to all that. They're like, okay, you're good. Each carrier can have very specific, smaller questions too. Macular degeneration is just one that's a big deal, but other carriers have very specific rules. Like you could have somebody that had very mild diabetes, just took metformin, but they're on 3 blood pressure pills, and a lot of your other companies will decline for that. But if you just ask high-level knockout questions, you're not going to get to the meat of that. So these are 3 very important things that I think we should all, take to heart and make sure that we're asking these questions, make sure that we're educated on our guaranteed issue rights, and make sure that we know not to charge additional fees. It is possible out there that some people are doing some of these things with no ill intent. Especially like the guaranteed issue right. Sometimes people just don't know, but it is your responsibility to know. You have a license, and your license is the one that's in jeopardy, and your E&O coverage is the one that's in jeopardy. And if you lapse your E&O coverage, then your name and your business can be sued for damages or costs. If someone didn't have a guaranteed issue right, couldn't get on the right Medicare supplement, ended up having to go on a Medicare Advantage plan, go out of network, had a $10,000 bill, technically, you're the one that is to blame for that if their intention was to get a Plan F, and that's what you told them they could get, and that's why they dropped their group coverage. So be very careful to do the right thing. Medicare is not difficult to get into. It is going to, there are going to be more and more difficult cases to approach that are going to come across your desk. And when you need to ask questions, ask questions. That's what Medicare Gurus group on Facebook is about. It's about asking those questions so that we don't screw somebody's coverage up. That's what your upline is for. That's what a lot of mentors are out there for. If your upline's not answering questions like that for you, or they don't know the answer, you might want to consider who you're doing those types of businesses with, those types of things with. Anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about today. I think it's very important, and I hope you guys have a very prosperous day and stay healthy. And, if the coronavirus has you not going to houses, I hope you learn how to sell over the phone or whatever you need to do. Business seems to be pretty normal right now for us, but we'll see how it goes. Talk to you guys soon.